influences there. And I don't know whether you've had a look at the forum. It's all about effects and things like that, and it's growing in numbers now. So, and I just want to really make something a little bit different from a forum and give members something a little bit different. And you're the first interview of hopefully of many that we're going to do. So,
oh, fantastic! Yeah, I tell you what, I have the last few days I've really got into looking at some of the different posts, and there's a few this morning that made me chuckle quite a bit because there's some funny memes and stuff, and yeah, it's a great place, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's it's all a bit of fun. There's lots of enthusiasts in there, and so yeah, so that's great. So look, we've got like 30 minutes, something like that, probably a little bit under now. So and I'd like to get through a few questions and about you and your company. And also at the end, hopefully get a demonstration from you as well. From your, I can see from your website and things like that, you're quite an accomplished guitarist.
I appreciate that. That's my, that's what I've done since I was sort of nine years old. So it's sort of what I try and fall back on. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very good. I mean, there's obviously a blues sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan sort of influence, and there is that where it all came when you were sort of 9 years old. How did you get influenced into all that then? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of pushing the Stevie stuff a bit too much, but yeah, my stepdad Mark really got me into Stevie at a really young age. It just had that stuff on the car and just really rubbed off on me when I was quite a young guy. So and I just tried to learn all of this stuff note for note as much as I could, and again the tones from that music though just really it just got me on a journey that now this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So
yeah, it's quite a tone, isn't it? You're playing, I think you used to play with like gauge 13 strings or something. Are you doing that yourself or?
No, I mean I've got gauge 11, which is depending on who you ask, that's still girly strings compared to Stevie, but yeah, I mean it's I don't think we've ever tried 13s or anything that heavy, but
no, I don't think I have. I don't think I don't think I'd be going for that either myself. So it's a bit full on that, isn't it? 13s.
Yeah, I mean, saying that, I don't know what gauge strings acoustics would be. I suppose that's about the same, isn't it? But you wouldn't want them on your electrics, would you?
No, definitely not. I have no idea how he bent the strings like he did and played as fast as he did, but he was certainly one of a kind, wasn't he? So
yeah, totally. And you hear those sort of stories about him, super gluing his fingers and ripping it off on his leg or something.
Do you do that as well?
Well, I can't reveal that, but no, definitely not.
All right, okay. So obviously, I mean, you're very sort of Stevie influenced, Texas blues and that sort of thing, which is, I mean, I love that sort of music too as well. So, I mean, when did you get into effects? What was the first guitar effects that you actually bought, got given to you? When did you start getting an interest in guitar effects?
Well, I can't quite remember what the exact first one was because, again, my stepdad Mark had a 2 or 3 floating around the house, which I remember once going into my cupboard, and he sort of stored a few old comics and old bits and bobs in there. And but I remember one day I found this old Colour Sound wah, it was like a nice purple one. It was like a wah swell, and I said to him, "What is this?" And then he didn't think it worked, but we plugged a battery into it, and sure enough, it sounded really, really good. And yeah, little moments like that, they sort of stay with you. And he also had a TS5, like a Sound Tank Ibanez Tube Screamer, which actually sounded probably as good as the. I've played a lot of original ones, and it sounds pretty much as good. To say it's £20 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were sort of 2 of my first early experiences with pedals, and I suppose being around them at that 9 or 10, they're just cool little things, aren't they? Like little gadgets.
Yes, as a 9-year-old, and you see these like pedals like that, and they make these like crazy, weird, and wonderful sounds. Yeah, it's an instant attraction, isn't it?
I definitely think it's almost like a lot of kids are into like trading, little collector's cards, you know, like what are they, you know, sort of, yeah, football cards or
The
whatever
Panini albums and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just always been pedals really.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So, the war was a sort of like initial sort of attraction to you. And so when did you first start modding pedals, or is that how it went on? How did you get to sort of like being a guitarist, listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then going, you know, experimenting with this wah pedal, and then actually thinking, well, I'm going to tinker with it? And how did that happen?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you know much about the very start of my company, but I used to predominantly just sell vintage and original effects pedals, a bit like this actually. I think I was always in love with like fuzz faces.
All right.
And this is like an old 60s one. I just sort of used to absolutely love trying to find them on, you know, Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace or eBay, wherever it was.
Yeah.
And I just got fascinated with trying to collect and experimenting with the different sounds that came along with them. And eventually, it just I met a really cool guy who is now my main tech in my business, and he was fixing a lot of these old things because, you know, you'd buy them and they'd be all battered and wouldn't work. So
is that KK?
Yeah, that's it.
Who is KK?
He is Kinky Keith.
Kinky Keith. All right, excellent.
I don't know if you announced that full name online, but
that's good fun. So Kinky Keith's your head technician, and he was sort of helping you along with.
He's such a great guy, and he's a bit of a genius when it comes to all this electronic stuff. And he was fixing all this old stuff. And one day I went round to his house, and he'd built his own fuzz pedal, and I plugged it in, and it just sort of exploded the room, and it just like, you know, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I sort of said to him, I had one of my favorite, because I've played through thousands of different fuzz pedals. I sort of said to him, would you be able to, you know, take a bit more inspiration from this one, and we'll put our own stamp on it as well.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we had our own design, which honestly, I just couldn't believe how consistent it was, because a lot of these old pedals weren't very consistent. You'd play one which was great, you'd play another one which was great. We managed to find like a formula where it's just like every one was sounding as good as the other. So then my brain was ticking, thinking maybe I can actually, you know, supply these to guitar players. And just before we knew it, it took off before, you know, like bigger than we could cope with.
Yeah, you've got quite a following on sort of Facebook and whatever social media. That's in the tens of thousands. You've got quite a following there. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're really trying to focus on social media, because that's where people are nowadays, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, that's right. People are getting their information. They get sound clips. I mean, I'm the same. I get lots of sound clips from YouTube and things like that. That's where I start, and, you know, doing a lot of research online. I think that's pretty much where everybody starts, and you know, get some idea of what they want.
100%. And back to when I was younger, I used to literally spend most of my sort of summer holidays just looking at pedal demos, like you know, Pro Guitar Shop.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think we're all very, very same. So when did you actually go from that sort of, you know, tinkering with the fuzz pedals and so forth, and when did actually pedal porn become an enterprise for you? When did that happen?
It was around that time of it. You know, before we knew it, we only started off with, you know, making 2 or 3, and some of the guitar players I already knew from being a touring guitarist were interested in trying one. And sort of from that, it honestly just escalated by week basis, really. And before we knew it, it was just getting to the stage where I was ringing up Keith and saying, "Can you make this many?" And he's just like, "No."
You put Keith under a lot of pressure.
That's right. Yeah. Poor Keith.
Does Keith actually exist? We're going to have to see a picture of him. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I can't do all this. I wouldn't be able to do all this by myself. But Keith's a great guy. If you saw him, he's like a you know, really well kept guy. He's like, he's definitely. If you met him, you know why it's called Kinky Keith. So
right, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. So we'll leave it at that. So you're based in Cambridge, is that right? Cambridgeshire?
Yeah, Cambridgeshire. I mean, I that's where we started. I've now moved up into sort of the middle of nowhere in Lincolnshire myself.
All right.
But it's, yeah, Keith's based in Cambridgeshire, and that's where our main sort of places that we make them and stuff. But yeah, like it's sort of around that area, Lincolnshire and Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, excellent.
But whereabouts are you out of interest? Are you?
I'm in the Midlands, so I'm near there's the little town in Midlands called Ashby-de-la-Zouch, and I'm in one of the little outskirting villages from Ashby-de-la-Zouch in the UK. So, but all members are globally based. So we've got a lot of people from America, a lot of people in the UK, Netherlands, Jamaica, Nepal, all over really. It's, you know, so you'll be going information getting to all over the globe. So adding hopefully to your tens of thousands of followers, hopefully. So.
Oh no, I appreciate that. I tell you what, we're probably not far away then, because Lincolnshire is not. I'm in sort of Grantham area.
Yeah. So. All right. Yeah, you're not too far from me at all. Yeah, about an hour and a half, something like that.
I think I see you.
Yeah. Well, if I turn my orange amp up, you might hear.
Yeah.
That. If I turn that up loud enough, you might hear that. So, so where do you distribute your products globally, or what's the process?
Well, it started off just me shipping them out one at a time to direct customers, but we've now started to take on some pretty great dealers all over. But they're starting to come in one by one, and we've got some good dealers in the States, in Australia, and just around Europe. It's starting to pick up quite considerably.
Yeah. And is this full time for you, or have you got another job as well? What's the situation?
Well, I say full time. It's even probably more than that. It's just 24/7. I just never switch off.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, because of the COVID stuff, the live music side of stuff for me is, you know, it's gone, isn't it?
It's dead. Yeah.
So yeah, that was my other main focus before this. But I mean, because of it seems like since lockdowns happened, guitarists are sat at home and a bit bored and stuff, and they want more gear to keep them happy. So one thing's died off, but the other thing's picked up for me, really. So
yeah. Well, there's one thing that we're doing as guitarists now. We're stuck at home, and that's what we're doing. What we should have been doing beforehand, and that's practicing. we've got no excuse now to practice. We can't say, "Oh, we can't learn that riff," or "We haven't got that riff right." So, you know, we can't turn up to band rehearsals and say, "Well, I haven't learned that part yet," because we've got the time now, haven't we?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's it. It's always that's the thing with pedals, though. They are a bit of a distraction from what we're supposed to be doing, getting better. But
yeah. And how do you go about creating a pedal? I mean, you've got a few pedals in your range, and so how does the creation come about? How do you start off? I mean, someone like me, I wouldn't know how to start off creating a pedal, and so if you take us through the process.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we'd love to have more out, but at the moment we've had the sort of not the issue, but the sort of thing to contend with of not being able to sort of get them out from the demand that we've created already. So it's like, instead of putting out a new design, we just haven't got the infrastructure to do that yet, because we're just so small and stuff. So it's we'd love to get more out, but yeah, to actually start off and get an idea from your head into the actual marketplace, it's a long process, really. I don't know how some of these companies do it. They sort of churn out a new design every day, sort of thing. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I think
crazy.
I think the initial idea is when there's a tone that is just not being supplied in the marketplace that just should be there, and I think but only something that I would personally miss and want to play live myself, because I don't just want to do another Tube Screamer or another, when there's already sufficient out there. But for this, I saw a real need for the two designs that we've done, because they just weren't there. I mean, the fuzz not so much, because there is a lot of fuzz pedals out there, but especially for the other one, the Texan Twang, it's like there was just a real need for it, and thankfully we managed to recreate the sounds of what I was trying to get out there. And again, Keith, just he's the real genius behind the sounds. I've got the sounds in my head, but then he's got the ability to put that on paper, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, right. Very good. Good. So, I mean, how would you describe Pedal Porn Effects, and as a company, what's the ethos behind the brand, the company, and the pedals? How would you describe it?
Well, I suppose again back to the fact that I'm a player, and I've spent my life as a player, and I'm not necessarily like a engineer and tech guy. I'd say that I am just a player for, like, I don't really have a saying for it, but you know, I'm producing the tones for players. I'm one, you know.
You're a player creating pedals for players, which is not
exactly. That's the thing. I'm looking.
It's not a bad ethos, is it? You know, you've got, you know, how pedals interact. You're going out gigging, you're going out touring. You know what you need. And I think that's where a lot of good inspirations comes from. I think you've got to be, you know, a guitarist from the first off, you know. So
yeah, that's a good point. And a lot of these times when you're playing live, sometimes a pedal won't cut through, and you never be able to, unless you give it to some high end players, you'd never know if it did cut through, and all these little intricacies that you have to get right. And I mean, I sort of always, it's not a, you know, a real strict rule here, but I sometimes think if you want to buy from a company, just look at the person who's making them, and, like, you know, the person behind it, and if they sound like you want to sound, then probably go with that company. But yeah, and then that's probably a bit controversial to say that, but I mean, sometimes I hear really good manufacturers demoing their pedals, but they're not really doing them justice themselves. So I'd probably say, yeah, maybe try and find someone that, like, have you heard of King Tone Guitar?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Jesse's playing, and like his,
I think there's what you mentioned earlier about the internet and stuff. Information is more accessible, and there's so many brands and products out there for us as guitarists to actually to buy and get involved in. And I know myself, you've got the, you know, you've got the JHSs of the world, you've got the Jim Dunlops, and they create some wonderful products for us, and they're so important. But I actually really like the smaller independents like you guys. I think you've got a lot to offer, and I would say there's more care in the products. That's probably the wrong thing, but there's a lot of care put in the products, you know, and a lot of attention to detail. So I think that's, you know, a great thing that you guys offer. And you've got some excellent endorsees: Eric Gales, Chris Buck, Richie Peters. How did that all happen then? Are they on your Instagram or WhatsApp message and things like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, for example, Chris Buck, let's take him. I was good friends with him. I think he reached out to me maybe like 10 years ago now. It was ages ago, because we were both endorsing this guitar string brand at the same time, and they've gone bust now. They were a tiny little company, but he reached out to me and said, I like your playing and stuff, and we sort of hit it off. And in fact, he lived, you know, maybe 10-20 minutes away from my grandma's house. So when I used to go and stay there as a kid in the summer holidays, because Chris was 10 minutes away, we'd hang out and just jam all day, and again, talk about pedals. And he'd always have like 50 pedals like there just on his board. And but so again, that stemming back from being a player, I suppose I had a bit of a luxury of knowing some of these guys actually from that life. So I was quite lucky, because a lot of these guys become, not saying Chris is like this, but some guys become almost unattainable once they get to a certain level, because they're so busy. They haven't got time to write to everyone. And
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
Eric Gales, how did that one come about?
Oh, Eric, I actually met him in Australia once, because I was playing at this little festival there, and he was as well. And in fact, it was a bit of a surreal moment, because Buddy Guy was on stage, and I was sort of side of stage with Eric Gales, and I was sort of like, I went up to him and sort of said, just introduce myself, and I think I might have nabbed his email address or something. And I thought I'd stick that in my back pocket, and then it came in handy one day, because again, his playing linked with that pedal really just resonated.
He's great playing. There's definitely a link between his playing and the products and pedals you're providing. That's for sure. So, so we've got a few minutes left. So hopefully we'll get on to a little bit of a bit of a demo from you in a minute. I'm sure the members will love that. If we cut off, I'll call you back and probably do the demo on another interview, something like that. So after this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's next for pedal porn? What's your plans? Obviously, you don't want to give away too much marketing information, but what are you thinking ahead?
Just it's we've got 2 or 3 pedals that we'd just love to release. In fact, I've got one idea. If it pulls off, I honestly think it might be quite it will be really needed by a lot of players. I don't know if we can pull it off yet because it's pretty crazy. It's like not something that I've seen before.
Right.
But there's 1 or 2 that I hope to do before that. I don't want to overwhelm us too much. But quite honestly, right now we're just trying to get the orders out for the Texan Twang because we just can't quite keep up. So it's honestly day and night just trying to get them out. And once that dies down a bit, hopefully we can release the next pedal, which is it's almost there. Just waiting on a few tweaks here and there. But
so it's already in development and stuff. You've got it. You're working on it. Oh, that's excellent. So hopefully it'll be on the market soon as then.
Yeah,
you've got me salivating already. So
well, I can't quite say what it is just yet, but it's I think it's definitely. I wouldn't want to put out a pedal that's not got a real need for it. So I think there's a bit of a need for it. So
excellent. Well, that sounds really good. So before we go on to your demo, there was a few questions from some of the members actually, and I can't forget.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
They're the most important people. So actually, because Mark Williams, he wanted to ask, does the current climate or current environment, do you think, favour sellers or buyers for pedals? Because there's a lot of cheaper reissues and things like that you see, and some of them are really good. That question's really come from Benjamin Lease and Mark Williams. Is the current climate, lots of effects being made very, very cheaply, and just really what your thoughts are on that. Do you think it's a buyer's or seller's market, and what's your opinions on some of these cheaper pedals, if you like?
That's such a good question, actually. I mean, it's such an intricate question that I can't quite give a point blank answer, but I can definitely tackle some of the parts of it. I feel like some of the pedals that you'll pick up now for £10 or £15 from China or whatever it is, they sound amazing for like, especially what it is. I mean, I don't know how they can produce it for that much money. It just makes no sense, because even the shipping should be more than that.
I know. Well, that was really the point of Mark and Ben. It was just, some of these pedals are really, really good, and some of the copies of the clones and things like that.
I mean, some of them are so good. I mean, but it's in terms of it, do you know what? I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the market in general, everyone has just got more into pedals over the last few years.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's exploded, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I thought that was just me because it's my own like echo chamber sort of thing. It's what I'm into. But I don't know. It's strange how, people were just. It seems like everyone has at least 5 pedals now.
It's definitely exploded over, and I'd agree with certainly the last sort of 2-5 years, something like. I think shows like that pedal show and other places like that, they've certainly helped. I mean, they're giving lots of information to people, aren't they? And pedals aren't just pedals, and there is pedals interact with other pedals, and you're amplifying your guitar and different pickups and everything else. I always say every day is a school day, and I'm learning all the while about how my pedal board interacts and works.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot to learn, that's for sure. And I think shows like that pedal show, a lot of the demo shows, they are really bringing pedals to the forefront. And it's big business at the minute. That's for sure.
And like I say, I think people like that pedal show incredible, and then also Josh at JHS. Have you seen his vlog on YouTube? I mean, it's like the archive of knowledge when it comes to pedals, isn't it? It's just there's no excuse for not knowing about pedals now.
there's lots of information. So yeah. So, all right then. Okay. So are you going to be give us a quick demo of one of your pedals? I think you've got one of the pedals. Is it the Texas Twang or the Fuzz you've got?
Yeah, I tell you what, quite embarrassingly, I don't actually have the Texas one just because as soon as I've got one, I've just sent it out to people. But what I will do is I'll show you this quickly. I've got the it's a really basic. It's just like the first pedal that we make, and it's just a simple 2-knob fuzz. You know, sort of inspired by the fuzz face originally, but it's got tweaks inside it that when you roll back your guitar's volume knob, it produces this really glassy, bitey, like trebly sound, which is what I've always strived for in like Stevie's sound. It's like one of those.
Yeah,
and
it is. It is quite biting and quite trebly, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And I never really realised, but you can get a very similar sound with a fuzz face. Well, the fuzz face with the right values backed off. I'm just going to plug this in quickly, and I don't think you'll be able to hear it yourself there, but later the viewers should be able to because we can mix it back in. But
sure,
so
okay.
You just pretend it's amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, I've listened to your guitar playing. It is amazing. You know, you're an accomplished guitarist. That's for sure. So I think you're as good a person as anybody to demonstrate your pedals. That's for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, I'll just go through some basic tones. I'll try and talk through a bit. Yeah, because
what's the guitar you're using? I see a Fender there. Is it Strat?
It's a bit of a mismatch of old parts. It's me and my bass player sort of put it together from all bits from all over. It's honestly like not one. I don't think there's 2 parts that are from the same company. It's honestly like crazy. But then the amp I'm using is like a Fender Deluxe Reverb reissue.
Yeah, so you like that kind of Fender-ish sort of tone, and you know,
yeah,
it is a lovely sound when you turn a Fender Twin up or something like that. It is a great sound. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's rare that you can do that. I mean, so with that being said, I'm using like a hot plate attenuator, so that my neighbours don't shoot me sort of thing. But so I can get it sort of cooking a bit, because without that it just sounds, you've got your amp on 2 or 3, and even that's deafening in a room like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll shut up. I'll stop talking, and I'll let you delight us with your playing and the sound of your pedal.
Thanks. Well, I'll try and put it on the guitar a little bit so you can just see a little bit. But yeah, sure. This is. I'll just play the clean tone. I'll say clean tone. It is a bit distorted before it, but yeah, here it is, and I'll try and show you the roll when you roll back your volume and get that glassy sound. So yeah, this is amp by itself. And I'll turn the pedal on. Then I'll play the pedal again, and I'll turn the volume up so it fattens up away from that glassy sound. But there we go.
Excellent.
Right, yeah. I wish I had my other pedal with me. It's just again, honestly, as soon as one's made at the moment, I'm just like, let's get it out, because Yeah. But yeah, I tell you what, that is it's such a simple pedal, that fuzz pedal, but it's, even though it's a simple 2-knob design, it's so interactive with your guitar's setup that you could spend hours just getting lost in the subtleties of the design.
Yeah, excellent. Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and talking to you. It really has, and getting to know a bit about you. And it's all, again, with the internet, you see the products, and you rarely get to see the face. And as you said earlier in the interview, and getting to know the person that's actually making them, I think is it is important. We want to, and I think that's with Josh at JHS, why he's doing so well. He's making that connection with people, and so I really appreciate your time, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed the interview.
Oh no, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm very like introverted by nature, so I don't really. I'm trying to come out of my shell a bit more and do these sort of things. And yeah, I'm not on Josh's level yet, but yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to ask me to do this, and I'm really chuffed to be the first guy to do it on the forum as well. And you know, once this COVID thing is over, we'll have to try and hang out and grab a beer or something. That'd be nice.
Oh, I'm definitely up for that. Absolutely. Well, you've come across really well. I think, yeah, I think members will really appreciate the interview. So thank you very much for your time. You have a great rest of the week. Have you got anything much planned for the rest of the week, family-wise and things like that, or?
Well, not family-wise, sadly, just working all day and night. I think, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll let you get on. Me, I'm still on furlough. So I'll be working on Thursday and Friday this week. But
yeah, nice
I've
one.
got stuff around the house, and of course, I'll be getting some guitar practice in as well.
Fantastic. Crank that
Trying
on.
to get that all in as well. So, all right, Chris, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Fantastic, mate. I'll catch you soon, Steve. Cheers. Thank you.
See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.